Hey there, Attack on Titan fans. Welcome to another episode of the Attack on Titan After Show on AFTERBUZZ TV. Tonight we are talking about episode 29, Soldier. Well, that was a thing that just happened. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
One of the things I really love about any given Attack on Titan opening is that because the song is so great, you end up watching it a gazillion times, and you notice something new every single time. Katie, you noticed something great.
Yeah, we have this nice little bit towards the end where it's the Beast Titan and animals for days running. One of them is a camel, which I thought was hilarious, but they're running over people. All those little teeny silhouettes, those are people that they are running over.
I completely missed that.
I was wondering what that was. I thought they were
But
trees.
about the fifth time we watched it, I was sitting there going, those are people.
Yeah.
Definitely thought those were trees.
They are stampeding tiny little silhouettes of a man.
Watch it again. Watch it again. It turns that very humorous scene into a horrifying scene.
It's like,
That's really all of Attack on Titan.
I mean, no, that's
That's
correct.
true.
If you think about it, it's really just all horrifying. Like, anything that seems entertaining in the moment, you're like, nah, not really.
You take a step back and you're like, nah, this is terrible.
Yeah,
Well, hey, on that note, hey there, Attack on Titan fans. Misery loves company, I suppose you could say. We are here to talk about episode 29, Soldier. Let me go ahead and introduce my fantastic panel. To my left, the lovely Emma Fyffe.
Hi, that's me. I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found at my name. It's Emma Fyffe.
To her left, the lovely Katie Cullen.
Hi, all my buddies. You can find me all over the internets at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet.
To her left, the lovely Alexis Torres.
Hi, everybody. You guys can find me all over the interwebs at atorres890.
And I'm Megan Salinas. You guys can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. We are also going to be keeping an eye on the hashtag ABTV Titan. Not the in the middle of that. And we've also got the live
Can you
chat.
imagine if that was the hashtag ABTV Titan? That is 3 U's
And 5 H's.
and 5 H's.
Yeah, 5 H's. I always use 4, and that is wrong. That was not the hashtag we agreed on. So yeah, ABTV Titan. And if you guys haven't already done so, please go to iTunes to rate, subscribe, leave a comment. We love hearing from you. If you do, you will also get a shout out on the show. Guys, we haven't gotten any new comments in 2 years, so it would really help us out a lot if you guys left a comment. That way the producers know that you guys like the show that we're putting on, and that way we can keep talking about Attack on Titan, because I need to talk about it. Guys,
I would like to bring up Rachel Steiner in the chat says, I don't find anything in Attack on Titan humorous anymore. I don't know. I laughed my ass off at, I'm going to marry her.
I'm dying.
my heart.
I'm sorry, we literally just come out of a scene where he and Ymir had discussed the fact that neither of them was interested in the opposite.
Yeah, I was so confused, guys. You
But I was also like, yes.
Reiner that's the power of Krista, though. Everyone loves her. It does not matter what anybody's actual sexual orientation is. Everyone loves Krista.
That's her power, Cap.
But I love that it's like his pupils got really tight, and he's like, I must marry her.
Before we get any further, I want to give a reminder to our audience and our wonderful live chat here. We love you guys. But please, please, please keep the discussions to this episode and this episode alone. A few members here on the panel have not read this portion of the manga. So guys, we would really appreciate it if it would be super courteous if you left it out of the comments and the live chat. We love you guys and we love your enthusiasm, but it's better if we don't know. It
really is.
The fun is in the surprise.
And if you do know, you can go make popcorn before the show starts and then sit down and watch us theorize and just eat popcorn and laugh.
Exactly.
And that's half the fun.
Yeah, that's fun for you.
So, guys, part of me really wants to start talking about, obviously, the ending of this episode, but the other part of me, the part of me that loves ships and just generally speaking Reiner, wants to talk about Reiner.
Here we go.
So, I'm going to actually leave it up to you guys. What is your burning desire? Because I have a strong bias.
Let's just start right with the ships, because I would like to point out that in the middle of the week, or on Saturday, the wonderful Andrew Fetch, who is at Tiger with a Y version X on Twitter, tweeted at us. So the latest Attack on Titan really doesn't do anything to dampen my Reiner Connie ship at all.
And absolutely, because there's a beautiful scene in this episode where I love this episode mainly because we get a lot of backstory from Reiner.
Yeah.
And we see that as a child, one of his childhood friends saved him from
getting eaten.
Saved him by by sacrificing his own life. And all of a sudden, that kind of it makes a light go off in my head because I'm like, that explains so much about Reiner and his personality. Because from the moment he was introduced to us, he was always shown as a character who would go out of his way to help his fellow soldier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that, you see the direct effects of that on him in this episode. I mean, to the point that when they're like barricading the door when they realize, oh, wait, everyone who's out there actually fighting has been eaten.
Oh, that's no good.
Or fell through a wall.
BRB jumping out the window with a Titan.
Yeah. And so basically they're trying to like barricade the door to prevent the Titans from coming up. And one is like punches his way through the door, and then Reiner just like sacrifices his arm to the Titan.
Yeah, and, like pushing Connie out of the way. And this is the power of this show too, is I read this chapter of the manga. I knew Connie, at least at the very least, makes it out of this particular situation,
Sure.
okay? I still screamed when
Yeah.
a Titan was like stood in the doorway.
did.
I screamed out loud.
And I'm like, he survives this particular
I
run.
don't know. It's been several years.
It has been several years, but it's just like,
I don't
come
remember
on,
what
come
I
on.
know. But here with Reiner, for sure, we get this moment, and this is, I swear to God, he must be the luckiest bastard on the face of the planet. Because not only did he escape the female Titan, but this is his, I guess anybody who's still alive in the Survey Corps has to be pretty damn lucky.
Yeah.
Because he also just does that awesome, like, maneuver to avoid getting smashed by the Titan's hand when it's busting through the wall. But then goes on and like levels up in badass by like picking up a goddamn Titan to toss it out a window.
Right. I mean, it was like a very small Titan, to be
it's a
fair,
small
but
Titan.
That's still like 15 feet
Yeah,
tall.
no,
That's big.
Yeah. I love it because I was watching this episode and I was like, Megan must be squeeing everywhere during this episode
I
because,
was.
dear God.
I freaking loved this episode. And I love that it was a tiny Titan too, because it makes a lot more sense. For anybody who's seen the live action Attack on Titan movies, there are like character analogs because not all the characters from the show are in it. And Reiner's analog at one point did flip a Titan. Like, not a tiny Titan, a regular sized Titan. And I was just like, that's cool, but it makes no sense.
It's very Final Fantasy VI suplex the train.
There you go.
Are
I
you
think that's
the
4, actually.
actual Hulk?
That's one of those.
Like, you know what I mean?
suplex
No,
the
but
train.
I liked too, because as you were saying, Megan, like there was a lot of sort of backstory in it, and we got this really awesome scene between Reiner and Ymir, where like she's working on something and he comes down and she's like, "Oh, you're checking up on me? I didn't think you were interested in girls." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't think that you were interested in guys." And they're like, "Cool, so we're in agreement."
No one's interested in anybody. Got it.
Right.
That was my favorite.
And I mean, obviously, like I know, like guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know what that means. They're much more interested in their work and their fighting. It is not to imply the other thing that I'm deciding it implies. But yeah, but I liked too that
I was like, I beg to differ.
but I like too that the way that scene ended was we got sort of that hint of what was going to happen at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Wherein like she's reading something in this language and he's like, "You can understand what this means."
Like, this
that
is literal
means
gibberish.
This to me, it says ancient language.
Spy
Yeah.
101, guys. If you're, say, a Russian spy, don't go reading Russian without giving some sort of explanation about why you can read Russian. Create a backstory for yourself.
We don't have time.
I took
You need to commit to the character. But yeah, talking about Ymir, there's so, like, again, talk about, like, getting some answers and replacing those answers with a million more questions.
Right.
Because we open this episode with Ymir in a very cruel manner deflecting the very notion that the village that Connie came from, that instead of escaping, or even as he's kind of coming to the realization that Titan reminded me of my mom.
Well, because I mean, he straight up brings up the fact that he's like, obviously all of the villagers escaped because there would have been like
blood everywhere.
and body parts.
And all sorts of terrible remnants of the Titans, everywhere they go.
But we do have that puzzle piece last week of the horses are all still in the stables.
Yeah.
You ain't getting far on foot.
Yeah. And again, why would Titans destroy homes with no people in them? They only really destroy things when
To get to a person.
To get to a
To eat
person.
them.
Otherwise,
It's like
they just
Jurassic Park, the T-Rex with the Jeep.
Yeah, no, correct. I love how you had to do the hand motions.
A lot of Titans have big heads and little arms too. That Titan in particular.
Yes.
And so he starts to kind of go along this line of thinking that we're all sort of dreading, with no hole in the wall, all the villagers gone, that Titan coming from his house, reminding him a lot of his mom, and Ymir immediately shuts it down.
In the creepiest way, mind
in the
you.
cruelest way
Yeah.
ever, too. Basically calling him an idiot.
Yeah.
And laughing about it. Although, there's so many ways you can read this scene, and the way Reiner chose to interpret it was like, hey, you're joking around, keep doing that. It'll get his mind off of the imminent danger that his family is probably
This
in.
is the only thing where I was like, Megan, your boy needs to know.
But when
No
it
one
is-
ever claimed he was the sharpest tool in the shed.
But the thing is, if you're in the services and if you've lived through a lot of trauma, which at this point all of them have, you make horrible jokes.
That's
Every-
also true. Black humor
everything-
is the way you deal with it.
Correct?
Everything
Yeah.
is too soon, but that doesn't mean it's off
Well,
limits.
and that's the
correct.
thing is, Ymir was definitely deflecting. It wasn't that
Oh,
she was
yeah.
intentionally trying to be cruel, but she's not a very warm person to begin with. And it was definitely her deflecting, being like, that's so ridiculous. People as Titans, what? Why would that Titan remind you of your mom? I don't know. That's ridiculous.
Which makes me
real
wonder how many people know about Aaron.
Yeah.
A lot, I would imagine.
Well,
but does the
and-
whole survey
and-
corps?
And we know for a fact that certainly everybody in the 104th doesn't know about Annie, because Connie
Right.
makes a point of oh yeah, Annie saved me that one time
she went
too.
out of her way to protect me. And, it's like,
Oh, friend.
I owe you guys big time, man. I can't wait to see everyone again. And it's just about that. Yeah. So and I very much think it was a panicked maneuver.
Oh, yeah.
Because she went from going oh my gosh, how awful this was a terrible thing, to going, ha ha ha, you're an idiot. Wow. Let me make some inappropriate jokes at your
literally-
expense.
When two Titans love each other very much.
But yeah, literally, I
They
just
dry
imagine her
rub.
having a deflection piece of something, and just look at this, look how shiny, look how pretty,
Look
nobody
at the
knows.
keys, look at the keys,
Yeah.
look at the keys.
I was like, okay, we get it. I understand. But I also love the fact in that scene that it wasn't just Connie saying something. Everybody who was there was starting to kind of pick up facts.
Yeah,
Which is really good.
And it's one of those things where Krista's connecting the dots too. She's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Where could those Titans have come from if there's no breach in the wall?
Yep.
And even their commanding officers are like, that's a question for tomorrow. I got no answers for you, kid. So, and that's a really troubling thing too, is the adults in this situation, they're not helpful in any regard.
Again, I still do not understand why they took their gear away from these kids. Because again, if one of them was a Titan, which we find out at the end of the episode, one of them 100% absolutely is, it doesn't matter.
No.
you're still gonna need your
children,
gear.
by the time we get to the end of the episode, these children are now defenseless.
Right.
Without any weapons,
Yeah.
without any adults to protect them, in a crumbling tower surrounded by monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally, for a fact that, if, Ymir being a Titan, this was literally her last-ditch effort, because it's we're probably gonna die here.
Yeah.
And that's the end of her identity as a
Yep.
member of the survey corps.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and it brings up a lot of questions too, because again, this seems like a coordinated effort, and we were speculating a lot in the last episode about Ymir being a spy, not not with whatever group Annie happens to be working with. That was the furthest thing from our minds. But being a spy for Pastor Nick and the Order of the Wall in order to protect Krista because she's special? Because of her family,
She may know things?
because she knows things and she has a very important family, whoever they are. And so, like, here's the thing. If she is a spy for the Order of the Wall and is a Titan, then we have potentially 3 different factions with Titans at their disposal, not counting the Survey Corps. Because we have the Order of the Wall, which, whether or not they knew Ymir was a Titan, I have no idea. But I also feel like since they know Titans are in the Wall, they probably knew. That I feel like that's a fair assessment. We have whatever group Annie's working with, which may or may not be in line with the Beast Titan, or the Beast Titan could just be its own entity.
Yeah. I really do think the Beast Titan is its own entity.
I agree. I think he just got fed up.
Seems to be an agent of chaos. Chaotic neutral.
I'm an
Throw
agent
some
of
rocks.
chaos. What a jerk.
What just throwing horses at people.
He didn't need to do that.
He didn't throw horses this time. He threw rocks at the horses.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
I only saw horses. My screen was very dark.
Horses?
I don't know.
Because that's the way out.
Well, no, because you gals told me that it was probably because they were domesticated, so he has like a weird thing about it.
He's like, screw you, domesticated horses.
Exactly.
I love all of the beasts. Except for you.
Wild animals I'm chill with.
Yeah.
But like if you serve humans, no.
Yeah, we're done.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
And that is why we have camels and T-Rexes.
Yeah, is that what it is? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I liked too the just kind of circling back to Krista, how they were kind of showing her as this, even though like she's like so tiny and adorable, she's also like very capable and together. And like the scene where she like bandages Reiner's arm, and then Ymir's like, I got a little cut too. I love that. He's so happy.
Quit paying attention to him.
I've definitely had moments like that. So I was like, oh no, paper cut, help me.
That empty bottle of alcohol.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Now, here's the thing. Yes, the adults were of no help in this particular episode.
Right.
But my God, like, these were some of the cruelest Titan deaths I think the
they
show
were
has
bad.
given us. Because for one, those two, two of them got taken out by a pot shot from the Beast Titan. Who,
They went quickly, at least.
Yeah, but he didn't need to do that. Like, that tower is crumbling, surrounded by Titans, and like, you kind of have to wonder if he like knows that someone important is there, because otherwise, why would he bother? I feel like he should just hop back over the wall and do whatever it is he was gonna do.
I was a little confused because we saw him in the last episode climbing up, and then he just kind of
just hung out.
looked. It was just like, I just want to make sure they're doing what they're doing, and then just all of a sudden he started to climb back down. Thought that was kind of strange.
No, he climbed down the other side.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
oh,
but
I thought
only
it was-
after throwing rocks, because
Yeah.
he's a jerk.
Well, yeah, I think
Yeah.
we figured that out.
But he's inside. What is that, the inner wall now?
Yeah.
No, I think now he's outside, because this part of the wall wasn't a gate. Like,
Oh, he went to the outside. Okay.
Ah, okay.
At least I
brain.
I
No,
think
I'm so confused which side of the wall.
I mean, all of what the area from Walmaria is infested with Titans because they haven't sealed that part of the wall yet.
Yeah.
But they've gone ahead and planted this seed about like if they ever have the capability of making it out there, that perhaps Aaron can seal that.
Okay,
wall.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
I think in the first season, I didn't really get a scope of like how much land this wall encompassed.
Thank you.
I agree with you, Alexis. I'm like, I'm so confused.
No, it's very confusing. There is
It's basically all of Europe.
There's a good film
Is that
theory.
what that is?
There's a good
the
film
most part.
theory
Okay.
on YouTube talking about the actual size of the area being encompassed by humanity. And the basic conclusion of that theory was like, guys, don't even bother attacking the Titans. You're good. You got plenty of land. Like, I don't know what this whole starvation issue is about because you've got plenty of land based on the measurements we've been given.
I need to find that video and watch it.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah.
I will definitely tweet it out again.
Thank you.
Anyway, to get back here, So yeah, we have these poor, and this is how sad it is that they get killed, and it's only right before they get killed that we actually get their names.
I know. I was just thinking that on Attack on Titan, if you do not get a name within 5 minutes of being introduced, like you're gonna live 3 episodes maximum.
Max, yeah. Like, that's just a fact, but that didn't I mean, we knew that when they jumped off the wall in the last episode, they were not long for this world. But like, poor Gelger's, like the way he went is just so terrible. It's just such a cruel irony of like he's concussed, he's bleeding, he's got no gas, and he's exhausted, and his comrade saves him, and for a brief moment he's like, at least I can have a drink before I die.
But no, we need an entire bottle of alcohol to sterilize a wound.
Yeah.
But it sucks because, and I feel like he was concussed because I feel like if he wasn't, he would have just made a run up the stairs at the very least.
His head was bleeding. He was pretty wrecked.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah, because like the only thing he thinks to do is to grab the bottle, and it's empty. It's
literally
empty.
what, 2 drops? I think is what we got off of
2
that.
drops,
Just
and they didn't even land in his mouth, and
Oh my God.
it's just so sad.
And I think the thing that got me was, okay, 2 of your people have died. Is there a reason you didn't take their gas and blades? If they did it off camera.
I think
But
the
I'm just kinda
implication
like,
was that their stuff was wrecked.
Wrecked, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought
mean,
it was.
they were crushed.
Yeah.
So that was my
They looked
guess.
fairly intact for being crushed.
Well, you gotta make it okay for TV to a certain
Do you really?
Yeah.
Because episode 1 of this season sure had a guy getting drawn and quartered by Titans in agonizing detail. Hey guys, we're back. Remember this? So it's not like they've really shied away from, oh, this person's head is crushed. Like, yep.
Well, either their gear is crushed or it fell to the ground.
Yeah.
Either way, there's no salvaging.
Yeah, I mean they definitely fell to the ground. So
Yeah.
I mean it would I have to admit that that didn't really, like, I had the thought of, oh, they should get their gear, and then I was like, they're like on Titan infested grounds, probably not worth risking it.
Probably not good.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, that was just such a bummer, like seeing them go
and it
that
was
way.
unfortunate too, because it's like they were the only ones that had the gear to actually fight back, and so that kind of gave them the impetus to fight back. Which, if there's anything we've learned thus far this season, don't go after Titans. If you are in a tower, albeit it might be falling down, maybe you should stay in that tower and barricade yourself in there.
But the Titans were destroying the tower.
Yeah,
like, some
they
of them
made
were
it-
climbing it, some of them were taking shots
But-
at it. Like,
I thought that maybe they can at least use the gear to get down on the other side
Right,
of the tower and
exactly.
then see if they can try to run. But I knew
They
that they
were
didn't have houses.
surrounded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, never mind. They're probably on the
and
other
then
side
getting
too.
the horses.
Well,
and,
and the thing
trying.
is that with the kids not having their gear, they would have had to take the kids one at a time to get to the
Yeah.
horses.
No, just use
And,
Ryder.
like-
It'll be fine. If you can carry a small
That's
Titan, you
true.
can carry like 5 people on his
yeah,
shoulders.
it's true. Yeah, just put them all on Reiner's back. It's fine.
but how much weight can the cables in the
No,
gear
you're right.
hold?
That's fair. That's right.
I'm having like this picture of like the Princess Bride where Andre the Giant
Yeah,
is like is carrying 3 people.
Yep, that's what I wanted.
Yep.
I was upset.
Yeah.
It's okay, he'll just grab someone and jump out a window. He'll be fine.
Which, by the way, even before she turns into a Titan, Ymir is badass in this episode.
yeah.
Not only does she kick a Titan out the window, but she also kicked a cannon down a flight of stairs.
That was amazing.
And she's like, by the way, look out, and kicks it.
And when she
Do you have
did that-
ammunition? No.
No, you just gotta use it. When she kicked that, I was like, you're awfully strong in the leg area. What's happening?
She never skips leg
Leg
day.
day. Not enough for an old cannon like that. No. Something was up.
Leverage. It's all a matter of leverage. But yeah, I mean, again, if you're not suspicious from her after the first 5 minutes of this episode,
Yeah.
like, I feel like there are plenty of clues
Yeah.
like sprinkled throughout. And when that happens, though, we do get this moment between Reiner and Bertolt talking about anybody who ships them.
Which people in the chat mentioned they did in this episode.
Why have a ship when you can have an armada?
Well, in Reiner's
Yes.
Told you that
flashback,
before.
there's another boy there, and it looks like a young Bertold. We don't get that confirmed, but I feel like we
Right.
can make that assumption since they're
Sure.
from the same town.
Yes.
You know, Reiner's insisting, like, we're gonna make it home. We're gonna make it through this and go home,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first time they've. I feel like since the very start of the series, they've mentioned a desire to go home, and you know, and it's just something that they've latched onto.
Well, that's probably also why Reiner was willing to sneak Connie out to his hometown.
Like, I want to go.
You're
home
close?
too.
We're close? All right, I'll do this for you. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's play hooky.
Also, not to mention just general suspicion of like, why aren't we allowed to have our weapons? This is real unsettling.
Well, I'll tell you why you're not allowed to have your weapons, even though I still think it's dumb. I understand why they technically did it, but it was still a bad idea. But it's because, yeah, there's a Titan in their midst.
Now, here's the thing, though. Obviously, Ymir's a Titan, and that, I don't know, how surprised were you guys?
Not surprised at all.
I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised on the size of Titan that she
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
She's
I
a
guess I'm
tiny little vicious thing.
I mean, I'm okay with it, but I was.
It's funny because
it just
she as
threw me
a
off.
person is really tall.
Yeah.
She towers above Krista, and I feel like she's pretty eye level when it, or at least close to eye level when it
Yeah,
comes to Reiner.
Yeah, and I guess because all our human to Titan
Ratios are weird.
Yeah, so especially because every single one that we've seen that has transformed has been the size of like a giant
Titan.
tower.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was very interesting to see her scrapping as a tiny Titan, but I was okay with it because she was kicking butt.
And
Well,
she has
and-
a big head and bigger teeth.
And
Yeah,
based based on her transformation and looking at the preview, she looks exactly like the Titan that was in Reiner's flashback.
Oh crap! Oh crap! Sorry, that just hit me just all at once.
Which adds like a whole new level to the discussion they have earlier in the episode.
Right.
For one, if she is a spy. Two, if she is a Titan. Three, if she's the one that murdered his friend,
Oh boy.
that's awful. And like,
Sorry, guys, I was feeling snacky.
and no, and again, like if she murdered his friend,
I love it.
and then
I love
you know, had to go through school pretending to be cool with everybody.
Right, but at the
That's
same
really
but at the same
awful.
time, they're also, you know, based on Aaron the first time that he transformed, like we see that there is, I think initially when you transform into a Titan form, like there is sort of a learning curve.
Aaron
Of-
went bug nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Of like
The
figuring
first few times.
of like figuring out that like it is still you and you can be in control of
Yeah,
this thing.
because like when he first turned into a Titan, it was just berserker mode.
Right.
Like he had no idea.
Yeah,
what was
he had
going
no
on.
he had no idea what was going on. He didn't know he was him. He had no control over it whatsoever. So it is very possible that if that Titan were in fact Ymir's Titan form, that she
might not have been
wasn't
aware.
her.
Yeah, she might not have been aware of what she was doing.
That doesn't mean that she doesn't know now that
Yeah.
happened, and that obviously is a consequence that you have to live with. But I'm just saying that, like, we can't necessarily immediately write her off as like, well, she's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, especially not after that beautiful scene that she has with
Yeah.
Krista right before she
Yeah.
jumps over the wall.
Right.
Which makes you go like, what promise did you make to each other in the snow that one time?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we're getting a backstory episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Renji in chat says that Ymir's Titan form doesn't officially have a name, but unofficially is the Dancing Titan.
Oh.
I would not have imagined that would have been the name.
Well, you know, breakdancing, you spin on your head.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
No, that's just me making fun. I have no idea.
Tiny and strong.
Well,
I
now
like
I'm not
that.
going to be happy until I see a breakdancing Titan. Now I'm upset.
There's gonna be an animation of it.
Come
Not
on,
in the
internet.
show.
Come on, internet.
Please,
want it.
please, it would fulfill me in so many different ways. But yeah, she does have this moment where, and you were talking about how Krista, she's very capable, and she wouldn't even have come close to the top 10 if she wasn't. But she also, I feel like she has this sense of guilt about coming from at least a priuged family in some way,
she
shape, or form.
Definitely comes from a privileged family.
Because Ymir calls her out and she's like, don't use their deaths as an excuse to kill yourself so you can feel like you died doing something noble. Like, whatever is going through your head in terms of like trying to justify yourself or atone, just stop it and just live a life you're proud of. I'm going to jump over the wall now. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Promise me! Oh, I hope she promised to marry her. That would be so great.
That'd
Hey.
be nice. I want it. I want it so bad.
Well, here's hoping. Here's hoping. The only other thing I really want to bring up is that during the scene where she's patching up Reiner, we kind of get a little bit of cryptic words from Bertolt because he's never been the type to talk a whole lot. But like at one point he refers to Reiner as having been more of a warrior in the past.
Yeah.
And Reiner has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. He's like, "What do you mean by that?" And
Well,
last week,
occasionally your friends just say dumb stuff.
well, last week we were also talking about how Bertolt has been kind of shady. He's been very quiet. He hasn't said a whole lot. This is probably the most he's spoken in the entire series.
And I'm sorry, he was throwing shade from every angle, at least for me. That's from the way that he said it. Just seemed like there was a little bit of like
you used to have a spine.
Yeah,
what happened, man? You used to be cool.
Yeah, it just seemed like there was a little bit of just saltiness in his words, and that's why I found it very interesting. And I was just like, "What are you doing?"
Oh, he's just jealous because Krista is bandaging his arm.
Even Bertolt's
Excuse you, that's mine.
He's not jealous of Reiner. He's jealous of Krista.
Yeah.
You can tend to Ymir. She's the one that wants your attention.
She's got a scratch on her hand. Are you just gonna let her bleed? That's not cool.
And Reiner's just like, gonna marry her. Gonna marry her.
And yeah, I definitely ship
Honest,
Ymir
do you think
and
I have any
Krista.
chances with that, Krista?
Oh no!
I definitely ship Ymir and Krista, but like, oh my gosh, I just have such a soft spot for Reiner in my heart that it makes me sad. I'm like, oh, it's too bad you can't be with her.
Yeah, no, that's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen, man. But man, do I feel for you? Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up in terms of like covering the episode. Do you guys have any final thoughts on this before we move into a little bit of news and gossip? It's literally just a blurb.
Backstory episode,
Yes,
backstory
thank you.
episode.
That's all I want.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm satisfied with the direction they're going so far. Basically, expanding.
Straight to hell?
Well, yeah, I mean, expanding upon the stories of the people who we met last season, who we don't know as much about.
Yeah, because I'm glad that it's not like extremely Aaron.
Esque.
Yeah. You know, because I felt like that's what we were gonna do. We are just gonna jump into that and be like, oh yeah, remember those guys that you met in training? Yeah, don't worry about them. They're fine.
Well, I'm excited to find out more about their time in training because during season 1, I was so relieved that we only got like 2 episodes of them being in the academy because I was like, oh, this is gonna be another academy
Could have
anime.
very easily been 10 episodes
And
or
then,
more.
boom, they graduate, and I was so happy.
Oh, yeah.
And I absolutely love the idea of this show taking the time to go back and kind of fill in the gaps. Just for pacing's sake, it's like we skipped to the action, and now we're going to go back and give you character
Well, I mean,
development.
that's been characteristic of this season from the get-go, where it's like they show you a scene, and then they're like 12 hours earlier. So,
And here, 2 hours earlier.
Hours earlier.
yeah. Yep. Rachel Steiner says that season 2 needs more Levi. I think season 2 needs more Jean, guys. Where is he?
Oh, yeah.
I have not seen him once.
He's in the opening,
I
so
know.
I feel like he's going to show up at some point.
Hopefully. Well, I would just like to top this off with, I'm so glad that when Sasha shows up and gives her report, Hanji rewards her with a potato.
Oh,
Like,
that was so
I'm
great.
just so happy. That was such a little moment of happiness. Like, I did my report, and they're like, oh, good.
I was like, where did the potato come from?
Doesn't matter.
The magic that is Hanji.
Magic science.
It made me happy. I was just like,
Magic
where?
potato science.
That's part of the millions of questions I have for every episode. That was just one of them.
Hashtag magic potato science.
The most important question being, where did that potato
Where did that potato come from? It was steaming. I just needed to know.
I mean, someone else is a surprise Titan, but seriously, where did the potato come from?
It would be funny if Hanji like grabbed it away from somebody and then handed it to Sasha.
I'm sure that happened.
That's what I assumed.
I wouldn't put it past her.
Not in the
Some
slightest.
poor intern was walking by with their lunch, and Hanji was like, I need that.
A survey corps
Yes,
intern?
section commander.
Oh man.
Someone has to do the paperwork.
A survey corps
I agree
intern
with
must
that.
be like the bottom of.
At least they don't have to go into action. They're just like, I'm just gonna stay in the office.
I'll just file all these reports. Oh, that actually sounds pretty great. I do want to give a shout out not only to Andrew Fedge, who wrote, I can't believe you opened this show with me. which is so sweet. I also want to give a shout out to Nate on Twitter as well, who loves listening to this podcast on his way to work in the morning.
Yeah.
So thank you, Nate.
Thank you, good sir.
We love you too. So yeah.
Happy Tuesday, I assume, for you?
Yeah.
Or whenever you get around to this.
Yeah.
Hello. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk some news and gossip really quickly.
Yay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
The only thing really going on is that on Toonami this weekend, the first episode of season 2 premiered. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it. I
have not.
I watched it right before I watched this week's episode on Crunchyroll. It was really good. Again, much like we were talking about with this season just as a whole, picks up right where it left off. All of the cast is back, and they do a top-notch job, like per usual. Nothing seems out of place, and it's just nice to hear everyone again.
Yeah.
Hi, Sensei Bryce.
Funimation definitely has everything down to a science. Like, I don't know if any of you guys saw the One Piece Gold film,
Yes.
but Keith Silverstein is the voice of the villain in it, and Keith was telling me he
he's
was
so
like,
good.
and Keith was like, I was literally there for a day, and he's in the whole movie, and he did everything in a day.
And it's like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, it's
that thing is
long.
long.
Yeah.
And doesn't he sing at one point?
Yes, he does.
He
Oh
sings.
my gosh, that's amazing.
He sings too.
It's great.
Oh, is there anything that man can't do? That's awesome.
I don't know.
Well, and not only that, but I believe they're simulcasting on the Funimation website, so you can
on
watch
Funimation Now.
on Funimation
Now.
Now.
That's their
Okay.
streaming service. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys can catch the dub there as well. I highly recommend doing so because so far it's just as fantastic as the season 1 dub. So yeah, sweet, happy about that. All right, let's roll on into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
So Emir's a Titan. That's a thing.
So is everybody in Connie's Village. Let's be real.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point.
Yeah.
Welcome home.
Clearly,
Welcome home.
Well, I mean, clearly we're getting the heavy implication that, because I mean, obviously we saw in the previous season that people are capable of becoming Titans for fighting purposes, but I think that there was sort of an evolutionary process by which
I'm concerned that our panel mates are also turning into Titans over on the other
But
side.
they're turning into the kind that are like wandering around mindlessly and aren't like smashing through walls a la Aaron and
what
Annie.
a raw
The one
deal
that's
that
just
would be.
sitting there chewing on someone's leg, yup.
What a raw deal.
But I'm also trying to figure out, because the fact that we don't know much about our town Titans, I guess I've been calling them.
Titan Town.
Let's call
them townies.
Yeah, the
townies. Sure. And so with the townies, it's just because we don't really know exactly what not scale, but like how developed they are, because clearly with Connie's parents or mom,
and
she didn't- her legs
she's
and her arms-
definitely a rush job.
Yeah,
And we
clearly.
had 2 Titans like start eating each other in the beginning
I
of
was
this
gonna ask
episode,
about
which
Which is one, the weirdest padding this show has ever done,
yeah.
and 2, not something that's typical of Titans unless a Titan is being actively combative or like, is a smart Titan like Eren.
Sure. Yeah.
No, but I definitely think that because these aren't our usual Titans, I guess, that maybe they just, I don't know, there's something defective about them.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing. If we want to make the assumption that the Beast Titan turned the town turned all the townspeople into Titans in the
Right.
first place, then that would explain why he has some sort of sway over them. Why,
Okay, that's fair.
When he says, "Hey guys, wait," they wait, and when he says, "Okay, you can move now," they move now.
That's true. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, as we've said, like there is no breach in the wall. So the Titans came from the south.
but he can scale the wall quite easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
the other thing is, we don't know what happened to Aaron's dad, and Aaron's dad made Aaron a Titan.
That's
Yeah,
true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Different
And clearly,
flavor of Titan,
clearly did
maybe.
a better job of it.
That's what I'm saying.
flavor of Titan, but
I know I mentioned this previously that like it feels to me like a Resident Evil situation where it's like the Titan, your sort of average Titan is like, we kind of messed up, we didn't do such a great job, but the goal is like Eren and Annie and
in terms of like
Ymir.
weapon base.
CRT virus zombies versus Albert freaking Wesker.
yeah.
Oh, Wesker.
Versus
like-
Shades McGee.
Yeah, or like-
oh my God. Thank you, DC Douglas. Total global saturation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and that it also could be, again, a time constraint thing. Like, it could be that maybe the Beast Titan had the capability of turning them into smarter Titans, but, like, because they needed to make an immediate distraction, he was just like, nope. And here's the thing. I feel like it's a science-based thing because this creature is super intelligent.
Of course.
But there's also a part of me that is willing to allow into the realm of possibility some Full Metal Alchemist type science-y magic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I was also thinking along the lines of, because of the fact that we know that in order for you to become for them to, I guess, start up to be a Titan, they have to cut themselves in some way, shape, and form. So I was thinking that it's kind of like Interview with a Vampire kind of style, where you have to cut yourself. They have to drink the blood from whatever Titan it is, and then maybe eventually they turn like a vampire.
I don't know, maybe.
So that maybe the beast is just like, I don't know, getting into the water system or whatever.
It could be some sort of pathogen, yeah.
We have the Beast Titan running with a lot of beasts and running over people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And again, we're making a huge leap in logic in terms of whether or not he was even responsible for that. He might just have like a weird kinship with Titans in general.
I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point, being generous, we maybe have 15% of the big picture.
Yeah, correct.
That's being generous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Curses. I need answers.
We'll get there.
I have an opinion about this.
Yes, Neil on the ones and twos. Go ahead and let's hear some of your predictions because I love hearing them.
Well, we know that when Aaron shifts, he produces a great amount of energy, like in a lightning bolt. And we just saw the same with Ymir in this episode. But we haven't seen a whole village of lightning bolts go up. So what I'm thinking is, and we have actually seen a whole lot of smaller Titans.
Yes.
So maybe if they're produced crudely, like to this mindless zombie-like state, they sort of grow gradually.
I mean, the
Instead
village
of all at once requiring all that energy.
The village
Right.
is near the wall, and it's pretty isolated. I mean, they actually make a point of saying that the castle that they're staying at, that it's really weird that there's contraband in there to begin with.
Right.
They make a point of saying how out of the way it is.
Right.
So it is possible that this could have been a gradual thing, and nobody noticed just because this town was so far away from, the rest of civilization.
Yeah.
But the contraband's also in an ancient language.
That's also true.
Presumably
that
an ancient language. It's in something no one speaks. So
That's definitely, that brings up the question of whether it was bandits or whether it was the Order of the Wall that Ymir happens to most likely be a part of.
or whether it was left over from the people who lived in the castle way back when, presuming someone did.
And in the commercial blurb, when it has those words come up, it's stated that no one really knows why the castle was there to begin with.
How do they not know?
It was fortified with all those cannons, but no one really knew why it was set up defensively like that, and people just sort of forgot about it.
I told you
responsible.
I told
to the annals of time.
I told you this castle was probably haunted. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Well, there was a beast there with his enchanted servants, but
it was weird.
didn't find love before the last petal fell. So that's where we got the Beast Titan, and
and then when you encounter
that's my prediction.
and then when you encounter the Candlestick Titan, that's when it's gonna get real weird.
Not ready. Not ready.
I'm actually way more concerned about the Teapot Titan.
Oh yeah.
That is going to be treacherous.
Nope.
Wait, okay, so if he were the beast, who would be Belle in this scenario?
Is it
Connie's
Krista?
mom.
I was just gonna say Connie.
I want the tale as old as Titan.
There's something sweet. Almost crying.
as it can be.
Oh, you know what? He's
On that note.
he's very eloquent. Maybe he can sing too. We don't know. We shouldn't judge.
On that note.
On that note,
ballroom scene.
yes, we should probably go ahead and wrap it up for the night. Alexis, where can people go if they want to keep up with you?
You guys can find me all over the internet at ATorres890. That's ATORRES890. I'm on a bunch of shows at AfterBuzz right now. I've got about 8 shows, and I have them all listed on there, so you can check them out there. And I also will be working on a podcast that's coming up called Trent Punk, where I'll be talking about terrible movies and adult stuff. So
Cool.
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me all over the social medias and on YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. I am on so many shows here, and Iron Fist is wrapping up on Tuesdays. Robots in Disguise starts next week, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Arrow is back tomorrow. Samurai Jack is Sundays at 8, and I'm a regular on Geek and Sundry's Gather Your Party Friday nights at 7 p.m. Twitch.tv/Geek and Sundry. Go fight, win. It'll be great.
I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet. Wherever Emma Fyffes are sold, at my name, Emma Fyffe, EMMAFYFFE. That is all F's as in Frank, no S's as in snake. For those of you who are listening and not watching, where there is a convenient lower third that probably says what my Twitter handle is. I do a bunch of things. Next week, over at Collider Video's YouTube channel, we are doing a trial run of doing TV Talk daily. So that will be streaming at 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time all week. I'm going to be on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. So be sure to come check that out. If that does well, then we will end up going daily more regularly, which will be a good thing for me. Also, be sure to check out the Star Wars RPG that I am a part of over at Hyper RPG. It is called Pencils and Parsecs. We stream live at 9 o'clock p.m. every Friday night, twitch.tv/Hyper RPG.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I am also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, and I write articles for the Movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks. Be sure to check those out. And I just want to say thank you guys. I'm so happy all 4 of us were here tonight.
I know.
This is nice. So happy that we're all here. And thank you to everybody in the live chat. Don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome home.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Gotta marry her.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.